I have a riddle which I've told you a number of times. I made it up. What do you call a religious person who says the world is coming to an end? A crackpot. What do you call a secular person who says the world is coming to an end? An environmentalist. As the pandemic has worn on, the desire to get back to normal has increased, and I worry, this is this man I'm reading from, that the hope for radical positive change has subsided. But we must not let it dissipate. We can't afford to, because we won't see normal again in our lifetime. Our parents and grandparents burned normal up in their American-built cars, with their American lifestyles, their American refrigerators, and American dreams. Ah, yes, how disgusting. Middle-class life is the nightmare of the left. People driving to work, having a picket fence around their own home instead of an apartment in downtown urban areas, having 2 refrigerators perhaps, 2-car garage, going to a Rotary Club meeting. This actually has a viscerally negative impact on a leftist. That is a nightmare. It is so unexciting. That's the problem. It's not exciting. Saving the world is exciting. Capitalist normal. Oh my God, it's the worst. Their American lifestyles, their American refrigerators, and American dreams. And now China and India are doing it too, because capitalism is global, and we sold it wherever we could. More than 3/4, okay, then the CO2 emissions figures. That's right. No more normal, folks. God, I feel bad for kids today. Nothing's normal. Men give birth. That's normal. Right? Drag Queen Study Hour. That's normal. America was founded in 1619, not 1776. That's normal. Refrigerators and cars. That's this American dream crap. But vote for us. Vote for us. We will upend life because, as you know, capitalism is terrible. And since you're so ignorant because you went to an American school, public or private, you have no idea what socialism and communism have wrought in this world. You have no idea. What percentage of Harvard juniors can identify Pol Pot? And you say, oh, come on, give me Pol Pot. Everybody knew who Pol Pot was when he murdered 1/4 of his own people in the 70s. It's pretty big news. I'm not sure that many could identify Stalin. They might be able to say a Russian leader. How many people did Mao kill? They wouldn't have a clue. Didn't know he killed anybody. Reading a book on the Vietnam War, a gigantic book that came out, Max Hastings, seems very fair because he acknowledges the evils of communism in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh got to power the same way Mao did, through terrorizing the peasantry. You didn't cooperate with the local communists. They would take a bunch of people and they would bury them alive to terrorize the others to support the communists. Well, anybody know about that? I knew about that. Do you know what I said, by the way? I said on my radio show very early on, I knew more about North Vietnam than the average South Vietnamese. And it turns out it's exactly what he writes in this book. This British historian who thinks the war, to the best of my knowledge, was a mistake. He has no axe to grind except, to the best of my knowledge, tell the story as it has happened, as it happened. They were shocked at what the communists did when they got to South Vietnam. Look, there are a lot of South Koreans who want to make peace with North Korea because they probably got as factually challenged in education about communism in South Korean schools as they do in American schools, which is mind-blowing, just mind-blowing. Why there aren't annual Thank You America parades in Seoul. One of the wealthiest countries in the world now, South Korea. You're probably using a Korean phone, and you may well be driving a Korean car and using a Korean screen to watch movies. This is all 100% because of American debts. 37,000 died to keep these people free. And then you got anti-American demonstrations. Everything I see in the world vindicates the Judeo-Christian worldview. Human nature is pretty rotten. It can be beautiful. That's the thing. There are beautiful people around. But human nature, it's really... I have a lot of questions for God, and I mean this quite sincerely. Aside from why did he invent the mosquito? I admit that's still number one. Number two, why'd you make human nature so flawed? How do you bury people alive and then have dinner? We'll be back.